Hi there, so this is the culmination of the 6-week series that I've taught to you over the last 5 weeks or so. So first of all, get a nice ball, find a space, like a wall, have a couple of blocks and a blanket, preferably, or a cushion or a pillow, whatever's available to you. And just come and sit comfortably on the middle of your ball, preferably against a wall to start. Have the right hand on the heart space, the left hand just below the navel, so below the bump. So just so you can feel when you are employing your pelvic floor muscles, you can feel a slight lift. So starting in this position here, imagining a golden thread between the heart space and the womb space. And as you breathe in, sealing the pelvic floor, lifting into the chest. And as you exhale, let go of the pelvic floor. And gently open the lips and sigh out the breath slowly. So, and what you're feeling is an extension in the chest on the inhalation, and a gentle ease and release as you imagine everything coming down, the heaviness in the pelvis, the heaviness in the feet. And continue this for about 10 rounds of breath. And you can dip the chin slightly so you're breathing into the heart space, and you can close your eyes for those 10 minutes. As long as you have enough time to feel like you're coming back into your body, this is the whole idea of centering practice. From there then, you're going to then come into a bit of a toe stretching. So on an inhalation, lifting up the toes and just creating as much space between each toe as you can, and then putting down the little toe and working each toe in turn until the big toe comes to the floor. And then lifting the toes, putting the big toe to the floor, and then see if you can get the little toe to drop to the floor. And you can either keep the toes lifted, and you can see the lifted inner arch of the foot, which is your cosmic gateway to your pelvic floor. So if your inner arches are nice and lifted, your pelvic floor will be nice and employed. And then if you want to just relax the feet there, then fantastic. And then we're going to do, it's prana mudra. So this prana is all about energy, getting more energy into the body. So if you're feeling fatigued, if you're feeling sluggish, really good for that process in pregnancy. Also a really good breath in labour itself. So we're just going to widen out our feet ever so slightly, keeping the outer edges parallel, and just have that nice connection with the ground. So feel really grounded through the legs and really light in the upper body. And we're just going to take the left hand just above the right hand, right down near our pubic bone. And on an inhalation, you're sealing the pelvic floor, you're lifting the hands, so the fingertips pointing inward and gently coming up, sort of the areas of the chakras, and then you're gently opening out at the end of the inhalation, looking up. And as you exhale, bringing the hands together and just almost like you're plunging with your breath, and you've got the visualization of the hands plunging the breath down. So this is quite good for the second stage when the baby's head is, when you're ready to, when your cervix is fully dilated and you're ready to push the baby out. It's quite a nice breath to do. So you can imagine your body as a cafetiere, the calibrations of the cervix, again, you know, like the calibrations of the cafetiere. The baby is the coffee, and your breath is the plunger. So it works a bit like this. That's one round of breath. So you're really using the inhalation, sealing and lifting and opening, reaching up with your arms, really nice in labour to help extend the back. And as you exhale, that release through the pelvis and through the feet. So continue the prana mudra for about 6 more rounds of breath. So in, sealing. And exhale. And when you're exhaling, really think about opening the pelvic floor and let everything get heavy in the pelvis. Okay, so from there, once we've done the breathing practices, so do prana mudra for 10 rounds of breath, taking the legs a little bit open. You can have the knees slightly bent, or you can have them quite straight, whatever feels comfortable for your hamstrings. And what we're going to do now is come into, it's called churning the mill, and it's a really good way of employing a little bit of pelvic movement, but using some shoulders which can tighten during pregnancy, and a little bit of core strength, So as you inhale, you lean forwards. As you exhale, you're tucking the pelvic bone down and drawing in. And then you're inhaling, coming to straight legs. Exhaling, coming back. Try and keep the arms straight and imagine you've got a big vat of porridge in front of you and you're just mixing the porridge. Don't come too far back. Come to upright spine. So you're just leaning forwards, using the shoulders to help get into that access, that pelvic girdle a little bit more. Now if you do have any pains, round ligament pains here, any pains in the pubic bone or in the lower back, just bring your legs in so they are about parallel with the edges of your mat, and then extend the legs and continue the flow. So it shouldn't be problematic for you if you do have any pains at all. And then going the other direction, so inhaling, coming forwards, and exhale. And do use sounded exhales, because of the connection between the throat and the cervix. So do about 4 or 5 rounds each way. And then you're going to bring the feet in so they're supportive, the ankles are supportive of the knees. Sit with a nice upright spine. Remember that golden thread connecting the sacrum with the crown. So feel that length in the spine. Okay, and from here we're going to just do a little bit of work to warm up the shoulders. So on an inhalation, look up and lift, and imagine you've got a bell, you're pulling a string down. So as you exhale, draw it down. Inhale, exhale. Working into the neck as well, but obviously don't take it too far, too high, too far back if you have any tension in the shoulders or pain in the neck, because it's just going to aggravate that pain. So if that is the case, then just keep the gaze neutral and then draw it down. Okay? So otherwise, looking up, drawing down, looking up, drawing down. And this just helps to release any energy blockages in that shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle mirrors the pelvic girdle, so if there's tightness in the shoulders, there'll be a tightness or an effect in the pelvis. Drawing in. And then when you've done about 6 rounds on each side, so when you've done 6 pulls with one hand and 6 pulls with the other, just bring the hands down and settle the breath. Try and get the breath back to a normal, slower pace rhythm if you can before we come to the twist. So the next pose, so after the pulling the rope pose, we're going to come into a little bit of a side twist just to help work into these areas in the side body. Now sometimes the baby can be right on this side and you might feel kicks in the ribs, so it's quite nice just to give you a bit more space. And also we're lifting the arms as well so it works into the shoulders. So on an inhalation, lift. As you exhale, rotate the palms look towards the right thumb, take a deep inhalation in, and as you exhale, gently rotate, keep your gaze on your thumb, and then inhale back to centre, exhale, come to neutral gaze to central head position, inhale here, exhale, look towards your left thumb, inhale, exhale, twist, inhale back, exhale, come back to centre, inhale here, exhale, look towards your thumb and twist, inhale back, head to centre, looking the other direction, inhale, exhale, twist. As you twist, try and keep the knees even, so really put a little bit more firmer pressure through the feet. So what doesn't happen is one sit bone comes back and the knee sinks. So you want to try and keep the hips nice and square and the knees nicely even as you twist. And do take deeper breaths when you twist. So really deep in the inhale. And as you exhale, gently draw in a little bit to protect the lower back as you twist. Okay, to the side. And we're going to do about, I would recommend doing about 3 each side, but really use the breath. It's a real moving meditation with the breath. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is a full moon salutation. So this is kind of just a culmination of all the exercises that are really, really good for labour and that you might wish to use in labour, first stage labour and the second stage labour. So to do this, just gently come to standing. So to come to standing, ordinarily I would say have the feet out, roll forwards and come up, but because of the camera, I'm just going to bring my feet and just literally come up to standing here. So the full moon salutation, we're going to start with Rocky Mountain pose. So I'm just going to move to the side. So from this position here, we're just going to have the feet, so you can imagine 2 fists width between them. So that's like hips width apart. Have one hand supportive of the pubic bone and the other hand just supportive of the sacrum. And all it is you're going to inhale, push the bottom back, so taking the front hand back. As you inhale, sink into the knees, open the chest. As you exhale, just bringing it through, and you might want to lift the heels on as you flow. So it looks a bit like this. And just take 3 rounds here. So sinking, inhaling, pulling through. So imaginary tail coming under, coming up. And then once you've got the movement going, you can just employ some hand mudra. So as you inhale, hands to heart, leaning back, sinking down into the hips. As you exhale, just bringing your hands down as you bring the pelvis through into yoni mudra, which is the nice thumbs touching, fingertips pointing down. So and then as you, so you're coming forwards here, and as you inhale, bringing the hands back to the heart, and exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. So just do 6 rounds of Rocky Mountain, and then you're going to take the feet, so you're going to be doing this all in with your mats. So have the feet slightly further apart in this position. Do have a ball behind you for support if you need to. So if you do have any tightness here in the round ligament joints in the pubic bone or the sacroiliac, don't take the feet too wide. Okay, from this position then, we're going to do a little bit of a squat position. So you're going to start here with the hands in the heart. You're going to inhale, so imagine a lotus flower at the heart. You're going to inhale, reach those hands up to the sky, As you exhale, pivot the palms, bend the knees, sink into the knees. You can use the ball for support and then drawing it back into the heart space and starting again. So this is called the golden circle of light. So what you're doing is you're taking all the negativity in the body up, releasing it through the crown. As you exhale, surround yourself in that lovely golden circle of light and then pick up the energy, the grounding energy, drawing it into the heart space. And doing this about 6 rounds will really help to open up the hips, so you're increasing pelvic diameters. Do have a ball if you need to, so you can see that my bottom is slightly supported here as I draw up. And that is, it just feels good because you're opening up the back, the entire back. You're really stretching through the shoulders and you're really coming into a nice squatting position, which is perfect position for labour. After doing that about 4 or 5 rounds with the breath, you can come into a proper squat. So from here, so you're inhaling up, exhaling, coming into a proper squat. And then if you want to, you can use the ball. You really press the small of your back into the ball. You bring the arms or the elbows to sort of help with that knee position. Now if you do have, you stay here for 3 rounds of breath, if you do have any problems with the pelvis, with the with the sacroiliac, then you can just come and sit on your ball in this position. But still come forwards if you can and just have the elbows supportive and the fingertips pointing forwards. So you're just in a tilted position. It's quite nice to come to the front of the ball here and do have the ankles supportive of the knees, okay, in this position. Okay, and then from the squat position, after 3 rounds of breath here, take the hands to the floor, walk the hands forward. I'm just going to come to the side, but I want you to just walk the hands forwards and drop the knees to the floor. Now hopefully you've got a pillow or some sort of support that you can bring your knees onto here. It's really important to have cushioning for the knees, especially in labour as well, because you don't want to hurt the knee joint at all. Have the hands open, really spread the fingers wide, soften into the elbows and open the heart space. Keep a little bit of contraction in the tummy, just so you've got support for the back. So from this position, inhale, open. As you exhale, just gently, so like what we did in Rocky Mountain, you're just gently tilting the pelvis forwards, looking back, and then just having a little stretch. So you're taking the bottom halfway. So you're inhaling, opening, exhaling, drawing in, and taking it all the way, halfway, to. But do use sounded exhale, sounded release. So inhale, exhale. It could be an ah sound, a ha breath, or it could be a ooh, or it could be a whatever feels good for you. So the ah, the ooh, or the Okay, lovely. And then from this position, we're going to come into we're going to come into a bit of a rocking lunge. So stretch out the right leg, so you've got a bit of connection with the hamstring, which is this muscle here. Feel that stretch, and on an inhalation, just widen out, spiralling that leg, just so it's just on the outside of that right hand. And you can just point the toes away from the body, so you've got more space for the pelvis. And on an inhalation, just sinking forwards, opening the heart, keeping the toes curled at the back, and as you exhale, just coming to straighten the leg. And just do a few rounds of rocking lunge. Use sounded release. And then coming up on, so drawing the right elbow onto your leg. Imagine you're sort of pulling all the muscles into the midline. So you're drawing in, drawing up the pelvic floor and coming up. And on an inhalation, spreading the arm up and open. And just continue that motion, the 3 circles with the arms, really opening out the arms, and then coming the other direction. Inhaling to come up, and exhaling to come down. And then just drawing the hands back onto the floor after you've done the 3 circles each way, just drawing wide up with the foot, coming back into that nice calf stretch, and then dropping the knee to the floor. And then from here, coming into swooping swan. So inhalation, opening the chest. As you exhale, drawing in a little bit, look towards your navel, and then you might need to take the knees slightly further apart to come all the way down. And then dropping the elbows, swooping the chest through, and then using biceps to come up. So it's quite a nice smooth action, but use the breath. And it's quite nice to use the Bija mantra for your pelvis, which is VUM. So you're coming forwards, exhaling, VUM. And just by using sound of release really helps to relax the jaw, so you're really relaxed in the pelvic floor. And remember, when you exhale, you need the exhalation is going to be doing all the work, hopefully in labour. So you need to use that exhalation to push the baby out. So trying a sounded release is a really good way of getting more energy and getting more of that sort of extension of the exhale. Okay, and then from this position, we're simply going to bring the hands towards the knees, and then just gently coming up into a standing position again. And then you can start and do the other side. So you can start in this position again. Remember, feet hips width apart, hands into the chest, sinking, inhaling, exhaling, coming through. And just repeat it on the other side. So you're going to do exactly the same actions as you did before. Just speed it up, coming into your squat position, in whichever position is comfortable for you. 3 breaths here, hands to the floor, and this time coming the other side, so stretching out the left leg, and then coming into a rocking lunge, and then coming into your Anjaneyasana with your opener with the arms, and then coming into your nice swooping swan. All these positions are fantastic in first stage labour, so please practice them. Okay, lovely. And then after you've done that full moon salute, both sides, come back to your ball. Sit nice and tall on the ball. Again, bringing awareness to the feet, so you might want to bring the feet so they are shoulder width, or between hip width and shoulder width apart. Really spread through the toes so you've got that connection with the floor, and sit nice and tall on the spine. And just take a few rounds of normal breath just to relax the body, because the full moon salute is actually taking the body in all, it's a very holistic workout, as well as being very good for positions for labour. So just dipping the chin, always dip the chin when you're coming into a sort of meditation with the breath. Just settle the breath. And then having the palms open still, with the chin dipped, coming into, it's called peaks and valleys breath. So you're using just a soft, smooth, long breaths with that gentle part between upper and lower lip, just so finite that you can imagine a little golden thread moving from between the lips. So it's a very soft, long, smooth action. But what it does is it helps to just lengthen your exhale, which is really, really good in labour. So just sinking your hips and pelvis, inhaling, growing that levity in the spine. Exhale. Soften the breath. And you can use a visualization. So once you've done about 5 practice breaths with that gentle golden thread, you can visualize your body as a boat. Body is sturdy. It's also carrying your baby, so it must be sturdy and strong. And you can visualize, if you're having a water bath as well, it's perfect. You can visualize the waves of contraction for labour as the sea, and your golden thread breath is the rope that's helping you to pull yourself up. Remember we did that pulling the rope at the beginning, where you can imagine yourself pulling yourself up this wave. So, and also it's like a guide rope guiding you to your baby. So inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. And then imagine a wave is getting bigger and it's coming towards you. So this is a representation of the wave of contraction. So as it comes towards you, always greet it with an inhalation. Breathe into the wave, and as you come halfway up the wave, let your exhalation, your golden thread breath come out. And imagine it spiralling around, and as you increase the exhalations, spiraling around itself to create that strong rope to help pull you up the wave. And as the waves come in, you might find that you need more exhalations, so about 3 or 4 per wave of exhales. And the inhalation just can be passive and short and sharp, whatever you need. So, and then exhale. So it's almost like you're thinking about a rectangle. So you're inhaling very small inhalation, very long exhalation, small inhalation, long exhalation. That's how it should work. And so I want you to do that for about 5 minutes in your time, 5 minutes of your time. Unfortunately, I think I've run out of time on the camera. So namaste, thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video.